Assalamu alaikum. My name is Shamila Malik. I'm a registered dietitian. I am very appreciative to ICNA for allowing me to present at their Ramadan series this year. I was able to do a session last year, and alhamdulillah, I have heard feedback that it was very helpful. So my topic for this Ramadan is going to be a trendy one that a lot of people are doing and hoping to make benefit to their health and are making benefit to their health. And that is an anti-inflammatory diet. So let's start at the beginning. What is inflammation? Inflammation is a normal part of your body's response to injuries and invaders. What are invaders? They're bacteria or viruses. Inflammation helps promote healing and the return to feeling healthy. Inflammation without injury or an invader harms your body and can cause chronic disease. When an invader, such as a virus or bacteria, enter your body, the immune system sends first responders. Those are inflammatory cells and cytokines. Cytokines are a protein that your body releases to jumpstart an immune reaction. That immune reaction is inflammation. It traps germs and toxins and starts the process of healing. This response presents as pain, swelling, fever, or discoloration. There are two types of inflammation, acute or chronic. Acute is an immune response to a sudden injury or illness, such as a cut or an infection. Examples of bacterial infections are strep throat. Examples of a virus are the flu. Both bacterial and viral infections can attack the intestines. These can last from a few hours to a few days. You know, if you get a sprained ankle, you'll have bruised skin. If you've ever had diarrhea from a stomach bug, you will get mild to medium pain and tenderness in your abdomen. There is swelling associated with any sort of joint injury, a skin that is warm to the touch, and restrictions in range of motion. What is a chronic inflammation? An immune response when there is no danger. There's no virus, there's no injury, there's no bacteria. The chronic sending of the body, the inflammatory cells, cause damage and hurt us. This can lead to chronic diseases or autoimmune disorders. Chronic inflammation presents as a whole spectrum. You can have abdominal or belly pain, chest pain, fatigue or insomnia, fever, joint pain, stiffness, mouth sores, skin rash, depression, anxiety, or other mood disorders, GI issues, diarrhea, constipation, acid reflux, weight gain or weight loss, and frequent recurrent infections. Chronic inflammation can lead to many disease conditions, including but not limited to autoimmune disease, such as lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, psoriasis, multiple sclerosis, cardiovascular disease, heart disease or hypertension, cancer, GI disease, Crohn's, ulcers, irritable bowel disease, lung disease such as asthma or COPD, which is chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, can't breathe, mental health conditions such as depression or anxiety, metabolic disease, which usually goes on to become diabetes type 2, neurodegenerative diseases such as Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. Combined all together, inflammatory diseases account for 50% of global deaths. Let's take a step back and listen to that again. Altogether, inflammatory diseases account for 50% of global deaths. So what are some of the causes? Injuries and infections are a typical cause of acute inflammation, as we talked about previously. But typical causes of chronic inflammation are more likely to be environmental factors. So that will be either your lifestyle choices or exposure to toxins. What are lifestyle choices? So a low level of physical activity, enduring chronic stress, a BMI greater than 30, particularly when you carry it in your midsection around your belly, and that's called visceral fat, a gut imbalance of microbes, inflammation increasing foods. And what are these? Foods that are high in trans fat, high salt, processed, fried foods, seed oils, nitrates, or the carbs, particularly sugar, pastries, anything white, white bread, white rice, white pasta. Disrupted sleep, an off-balance circadian rhythm, which is your natural sleep or wake cycle. Toxin exposure, pollution, hazardous waste, industrious chemicals. I think most of us can remember about 2 years, a year and a half ago, there was a toxic spill of a train in Ohio. If anyone goes back and does the research, I'm sure they will find that population to present with many illnesses because of that exposure. Tobacco or smoking. Alcohol. Increasing your sugar intake, which thereby increases the glucose in your body. Low vitamin D. Increased intake of omega-6 and decreased intake of omega-3s. And overall excess intake. So these are the environmental factors, some in our control and some not, that can lead to your chronic inflammation. So how do we treat it? So if it's an acute inflammation episode, you rest that injured body part. Now, I don't mean by one day. If you have a sprain, give it at least a week, take it easy. Use an ice pack. Do appropriate wound care if there's a cut. And use pain relievers. If you have an infection, a doctor may prescribe antibiotics. Chronic inflammation, on the other hand, you have a multi-tier system to relieve that inflammation. So you can take supplements such as zinc, such as the omega-3s, antioxidants, vitamin D, turmeric, ginger, or garlic. You can use non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. Non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. I had to check that. You can buy these over the counter. They include aspirin, ibuprofen, naproxen. But remember, you don't use any of these for greater than 10 days without asking your physician. And if needed, if none of these are remedying, your health is declining, and a doctor can make a decision to put you on steroids, which are corticosteroids, such as prednisone, which will help reduce the inflammation in your body overall. So as far as foods go, what are the different types of foods that you can choose to eat that will help reduce inflammation? So primarily, you want to focus on whole foods, on natural foods, on eating foods the way God created them. What does this include? So fatty fish, salmon, tuna, mackerel, sardines, cod oil. These all have omega-3s. The fresh fruits, you want to eat the apple, not the applesauce. You want to eat fresh pears. You want to eat the stuff with the fiber. When you can eat the skin, you also want to eat the skin, because that is where a lot of the fiber is. You would always choose a fresh fruit over the juice. Leafy greens, spices such as turmeric, ginger, and garlic. Avocado. The berries have all your antioxidants, so let's get eating those berries. And of course, nuts and seeds with their healthy fats. So within the dietetics world, there are two diets that show improvement with inflammation. One is the Mediterranean diet, the other is the DASH diet. What is the Mediterranean diet? It focuses on plant-based foods and healthy sources of fat. So this includes fish, which you eat 3 times a week, with a serving being 3 to 4 ounces. Extra virgin olive oil, which is 1 tablespoon a day, but not greater than 4 tablespoons a day. Fruit, 3 servings per day. What is a serving? A half a cup to 1 cup. Let's pull out those measuring cups. Vegetables, 3+ servings a day. What is a serving? Half a cup cooked or 1 cup raw. Legumes or beans, 3 servings per week. A serving equals a half of a cup. Any of us who eat lentils, any of us who eat beans, how many of us actually eat a half a cup? So you could choose to eat your 3 servings for your week at one setting, but I would honestly recommend spreading them out over the week. Nuts, so 3 servings per week, not per day. What is a serving? A 1/4 of a cup. We need to think about that for some of us who are nut poppers. Or add 2 tablespoons of nut butter. Whole grains or starchy vegetables, 3 to 6 servings per day. And what is a serving? A half of a cup of a cooked vegetable, 1 slice of bread, 1 ounce of a cereal such as oatmeal or grits, the more whole grain cereals, not the Fruity Pebbles kind, and of course a half of a cup of rice. Anyone from most parts of the Muslim world does not eat half a cup of rice, but we should. The second diet is the DASH diet. It stands for Dietary Approaches to Stop Hypertension. They focus on limiting your salt and increasing your potassium. You want to try to stay within 2,300 milligrams per day. So you increase fruits, you increase vegetables, you increase whole grains, you increase your nuts, seeds, and legumes, low-fat dairy, and lean meats. Both diets are similar, but there are some differences. So now Ramadan is coming upon us. And finally, science is starting to catch up to our religion, which ordained for us fasting when it started, and actually acknowledging the benefits of fasting. There are 2 different types of fasting. There are short-term fasting, there's long-term fasting. My lecture last year actually went into the differences of the 2 and the benefits of the 2. Long-term can be 36 hours. Short-term is either 1 day or a period, which is intermittent fasting. So you have a period when you eat food and a period where you don't eat food. What is our Ramadan fasting? It's intermittent fasting. And if you start doing the research, science has caught up. They know how much it benefits us. So alhamdulillah, this was ordained for us many years ago without us having to receive acknowledgement of anyone else. But there are some tips that we can use to carry this anti-inflammatory approach into our Ramadan as it comes up and not break the efforts to improve our health. Number 1, and this is really number 1 for I think every community across the globe, don't break your fast with fried foods. You know, every culture has their version of the samosa or an egg roll or a puff pastry or, you know, the falafels or fritters, the pakoras, you know, just don't. Those are creating inflammation in your system, and that's exactly what we're trying to avoid. What is our iftar? We are breaking our fast, so it's our breakfast. You don't want to start your period of eating off incorrectly with a bunch of inflammation-inducing foods. Second, I would say try to follow the sunnah of breaking your fast with just water and a date. Put 2 dates on your plate, have some cool water, take them slowly, don't inhale them, and then go to pray Maghrib. When you return and you're going to be eating your dinner, try to eat slowly. The hormones that are released that help you feel satiety, which means feel full, they take some time. And if you're just running through your meal, your brain is not going to receive the signal. It takes some time. If you eat slowly, you will receive the signal. You will stop eating when you are full and end up saving yourself calories. Focus on protein and non-inflammatory whole foods. Again, the way nature created them, not the way the grocery mart made them. And avoid sugars. Avoid the white grains, the white pastas, the white rice, and the hidden calories and all of the sweet things that we like to eat. So it's not that difficult to do if you plan correctly. And how do you plan correctly? Go into Ramadan with a pre-planned plan. All right, I made a sample meal day. You can take it as it is. You can change it up to what suits you. If you have some sort of food intolerance or you don't find something delicious, you can always change it up for something you do that is more healthy. I just said start suhoor with 3 eggs and an avocado, 1 serving of oats or grits with chia seeds and some berries. Drink plenty of water. And if you have to have your caffeine, it's all good. A lot of us do, but make sure you have your hydration, which is the water. You go through the day, you have your iftar. Try to do the dates and the water. When you come back after Maghrib, have dinner. 4 to 5 ounces of a lean protein, vegetables sauteed in extra virgin olive oil, 1 serving of your whole grain, which is about a half a cup, not very much. You can have for dessert a bowl of berries and a ginger green tea. I don't mean the ginger green tea that you find in the tea bags in the grocery store. I talk about take some ginger, peel it, chop it up, boil it in water. You bring it to a rapid boil, you put it on a rolling boil, 8 to 10 minutes, cap it, let it cool down, That is the water that you make your green tea in. That is an anti. Then, after you come back after Tarawih, go and you're getting ready to go to bed, you can have 1 serving of nuts plus turmeric milk sweetened with some honey. If you have a very laborious job, if you're exercising during Ramadan, or you start to feel dehydrated for any other reason, make sure to use electrolytes. Our fasts are not meant to hurt us. They are an act of obedience to Allah, but our body is an amana upon us and we must take care of it. And don't forget to take your vitamins and supplements. I hope you found this information beneficial. May Allah bless all of us with a blessed Ramadan in which we are able to improve ourselves spiritually and physically. I really appreciate Ikna letting me do this little talk. I hope you found it beneficial. Jazakallah khair.